Welcome to our Friday Casebook. Hi, Roger.
Great to see you, Lena, and thanks to our audience for staying with us. And it's great to have this chance to be with you once a week.
So, Roger, what caught your eye this week?
Well, this week, the image that sticks in my mind, Lena, is of Michel Barnier arriving at Paddington Station with his face mask. I think we're going to miss Monsieur Barnier when he's not doing this job anymore. We've got used to his travels backwards and forwards and around Europe. I met him once actually in Strasbourg at the European Parliament. He's a very nice man, and I think he sort of, in a way, he personifies what he talks about, the integrity of the single market, the four freedoms, and he must have the patience of a saint. And I just had in my mind a sort of, I'll show you a couple of pictures of him, if I
yeah, please do.
If I may. I mean, here he is. I just had this image of him as he arrived at St Pancras Station. There he is with his face mask, and I just thought, for a moment, I saw that mask as a kind of white beard, and I turned him into Father Christmas. I'm sure that there's a sort of Father Christmas in Michel Barnier, and he would really like to offer a trade deal to the UK that they could accept in time for the deadline. I don't know where Boris Johnson is now. He might be going out playing football. He could go and find Boris Johnson and shake on a deal dressed as Father Christmas. But I don't think it's going to happen, because I think if Monsieur Barnier is Father Christmas wanting to give a nice Christmas to the UK in the form of a deal, there are plenty of people ready to play the Christmas Grinch, and I think Emmanuel Macron is probably one. I think Angela Merkel wants all the children together at Christmas, as it were. So she wants to keep the family together, and she would like to see a deal done. But I think Macron is fed up, and he's got problems of his own, of course, in France at the moment. And I think around the UK side of things, I mean, it's just total confusion. It's very sad, Lena, because 30 years ago yesterday, a French engineer and a British engineer shook hands through a hole that they'd knocked out in the Channel Tunnel. As the Channel Tunnel finally, the French tunnel and the English tunnel joined. I think the English passed through Paddington Bear to the French to say, well,
on the 2nd of December, yeah.
2nd of December, and the Los Angeles Times reported it as a great event, a great historic event, and it said that a lot of British people were worried that the tunnel was going to be an easy route for drug smugglers and people traffickers to come and invade the UK. That bit at least hasn't changed, but I hope the Eurostar doesn't go out of business, because of course Eurostar got it over being an island in the UK. And it's the British Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, who, when he became Foreign Secretary, of course, he gave a press conference in which he said that he hadn't realised until he became Foreign Secretary that the UK was an island and that it was dependent on the port of Dover to receive supplies. And I think what's dawned on him now is that, being an island, Britain is surrounded by sea, and that fish live in the sea, and he wants the English fish to be caught by English fishermen, not by French fishermen, even if they end up on being eaten by French people. And so this whole business of the fish is going to stop a happy ending. It would be a happy ending just to have a Brexit deal. The happy ending would be not to have Brexit at all, but it is going to prevent them from being able to reach a deal before Christmas. But I may be wrong.
Okay, but so is the Eurostar in trouble?
I think the Eurostar, like many businesses, is suffering from the fact that people are not traveling, they're not using its services. But whereas a lot of the air freight companies are getting subsidies from governments, Eurostar is not, and they have been, I think understandably, complaining about that and asking for help.
Roger, who's on the naughty step this week?
Wow, the naughty step this week is getting a little bit crowded with people from Hungary. I mean, we had Viktor Orban on there for weeks, and he's still there. And this week he's been joined by one of his former MEPs, who, as Viktor Orban explains, for the last 30 years, Josez Szajer has been bravely defending what they see as the European way of life, family values, whatever that means. But unfortunately, last week, Mr. Szajer broke the lockdown rules in rather spectacular fashion. He was caught at a party in Brussels with 25 naked men as he tried to clamber out of a first floor window. Now, people get up to in their spare time is none of my business, but it does smack a little bit of hypocrisy when you go around telling everybody that we have to have, we can't have gay marriage, and we have to have family values, and that's what Europe is all about. And then it turns out that you break the lockdown rules to do that. And he has resigned as an example of the hypocrisy. And I think there can't be two rules. There can't be one rule for us and one rule for somebody else. And I think that that's unfortunately Orban's mentality. He thinks that there's a kind of Eastern version of the rule of law, Western version of the rule of law. There isn't. There's just the rule of law. And in a statement this week by the Hungarian Europe Society, our good friend István Hegedűs is the chair of that. They're saying exactly that. And we always need to remember that, as well as the Hungarians on the naughty step, there are Hungarians who are fighting for human rights, democracy, and the rule of law with a more progressive vision for the future of their country and of Europe as a whole, and we should support them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell me, when you were sitting like this, I saw something white. Can you tell me about this?
Yes, so I'm wearing a white ribbon because last week was White Ribbon Day. And that started about 20 years ago, when a group of men in Canada decided to set up an international organization to encourage men to call out violence against women, to report violence against women, not to behave in a way that is violent against women, to report it, not to stay silent. And that's become quite a large movement. And I'm wearing that to say stop violence to women as a man. And in fact, it's a 16-day campaign that starts on the 25th of November and runs until the 10th of December, which is Human Rights Day. And on Human Rights Day this year, New Europeans will be having the third in our Quo Vadis series. We will be hearing again from Olga Zubulova from New Europeans Minsk in Belarus, about the work that she and her friends and others are doing to stand up for democracy in Belarus. Unfortunately, Olga's husband was arrested last week. He's in prison at the moment. We will also have Veronika Mudra from Los Angeles, who's Ukrainian and who is the founder of the White Ribbon Campaign in the United States. We talked about it starting in Canada, and there's also White Ribbon Campaign in the United States and in Europe. She'll be joining us for that event too, and that will be at 6 p.m. Paris time on New Europeans News Facebook Live. Quo Vadis, Belarus, Ukraine, Russia on Human Rights Day, and we'll be talking to Veronica and to Olga and to others then.
Yeah, very much looking forward to this. So a week to go, and then we can watch it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for this overview, Roger, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week. All the best.